Hello, everybody. Whoa, we got peoples. Yay. We like it when peoples come. Um, yeah, it's been a bit, so I'm a little rusty and yeah, we're gonna we're gonna give this a go. Um, yeah, so let me get my apron and we'll get started. Um, I did start this a little earlier. I started the dough because it takes a little while to rise, and I think everybody would want to sit here and watch bread rise. So, you know, we'll see what it goes. Hold on a second. So, different. Okay, there we go. Aha. Um, Bond snowball slick. It's gonna be interesting. Um, so I found this recipe online, and so it is, you know, a recipe I found online. I started the dough earlier. It's in the rise, and I'm a little nervous about it. This is not Tostino's pizza rolls. This is not that kind of roll. These are going to look a bit like cinnamon rolls when they're done. They're going to be all gooey and all that stuff, ideally. So this is not pizza dough. This is something more like a bread. It's a yeasty roll bread stuff. And my yeast is in date. My milk that I put it in was not too hot because I mean I tested it and everything, all that stuff. Everything looked good, but the dough is a bit dense and a little bit dry. So I'm a little nervous about whether it's going to rise properly or not. It looks like it's budging a little bit, but it might have to wait a little longer for the rise than I expected, but which is why I'm glad I started it ahead of time. This is the recipe that is on my Discord. So if people are wanting to see what it is, that's what it is. I'm trying to think. Also, remember, I'm on the laptop. I cannot see anything at all on Twitch, which is in the other room because the screen is very tiny. If anything exciting happens on Twitch or something I need to be aware of, say something out loud here so I can see it. I can go fix it in the other room. Otherwise, we're just going to sit here and I won't know. So if people are doing something funky or something exciting, I like exciting stuff. We need some more good stuff in this world. We need some good news. Um, so we're hopeful. I it is the temperature's a little weird here. I don't know if in the UK it is windy. It is really windy and it's been a little cold. So to warm up my kitchen a little bit, I have an electric stove. I did turn on the burner for a moment, and then I've got my dough sitting next to it. I didn't put it over anything because I don't want to melt anything. So I'm hoping just a little heat bump will kick the yeast in and it will do something besides be a brick because that would be a very short stream. We'll see. Trying to think. Thank you for the link. I'm trying to think if there's anything else other than sitting here and waiting for. I'm trying to find my timer here. Um, Waiting for dough to rise. This is what I was hoping to avoid by starting early. But the recipe is pretty straightforward. It's basically, we're going to make our bread dough. We're going to roll it out and into a big rectangle. We're going to put our sauce on it. We're going to put cheese on it and very thin toppings because we're going to roll it like cinnamon rolls. And then we're going to pop them in the oven and we're going to cook them like cinnamon rolls. And ideally, they pop out and everything's all amazing. The video that someone showed of it was, ooey gooey and all that stuff. But AI being what it is, we can't know for sure until I make the mess. That's the hope. Um, on that note, while we're waiting, although I appreciate that. The recipe wants me to roll it out into uh, half a centimeter. I know we're hoping for. They looked amazing. I shared the video of it on my Discord, but it was on Facebook, so most people didn't get it. So I showed them stills, and it looked great. but you know how things are. The recipe said to roll it out to 5 millimeters, which is half centimeter. I have my rolling pin, words hard, that comes with these little guard thingies, so it makes the thickness consistent. I don't have a 5 millimeter one. I have, or a half centimeter one. I have 3, 6, and 10, but no 5. Now, because I was a bit concerned about the dough doing what it needed to do, a quick check on Google with all the answers had some suggestions. And one of those suggestions would be to roll it out a little thinner than what was recommended if the dough doesn't rise properly. And in theory, it'll still taste really good. The dough was very dense when I was kneading it, so I'm a little worried. I mean, it was like dense, which makes me very concerned if the yeast did anything. The yeast is in date. It didn't bubble up like I'd hoped it would. The milk wasn't hot. It wanted, and this came up in the Discord. When you're using yeast, you have to be very mindful of the temperature. There's a very small window that yeast likes. Too cold, it won't activate. Too hot, it dies. So you have to be very careful when adding liquid to your yeast that it's not too hot. And the milk should not have been too hot. You know, I got my thermometer out. So now we're in this wait and see moment. Uh, After today, so thinking ahead, I have more cooking ideas. A lot of it's just been health. I just have not been up to um, cooking much lately, but I have thinking about nerd food because this probably would not be something you would do on a gaming night, but this would be great for a movie night. Um, but I have some Hobbit food lined up that I would very much like to try. Some potato and leek soup. It's not like leek. We do potato and onion soup. Very hobbity, and I'll bake some bread to go with that. That actually, I know the recipe, and it works out really well. So that could be my hope. Yay! I know where everybody is. Everybody right now is playing Dune because the double XP weekend started, and everybody's grinding out. They got all their mnemonics reset, and everybody's playing Dune, which I respect. Um, I played some. Someone said preparing bread dough is tricky. When I use dry biological yeast, it usually doesn't turn out how it's supposed to be. It is tricky because there's like the regular yeast and there's the fast acting yeast, and you got to be very careful. What does the recipe say, and do you have the right kind? And this one was kind of weird. It wanted 10 grams. The little packets come in 7 grams, which was an interesting thing. The original recipe I found was for a big batch. And so I cut it in half, so that might be part of my pain. We shall see. I wanted to play, but I've been too tired. Maybe tomorrow for some. Yeah, play. We had a good decree come up on the lands run to run for, so I say we've been running. A certain member of the guild has been dominating the lands route for the last 2 days. I'm surprised their fingers have not fallen off. I know I played some, uh, and Keratin has played some. Pamela has been just kicking ass and taking names on this lands red, and was very kind enough to uh, drag me around a little bit and go slow for me because I am much slower. I know that she finishes for every one I finish, she finishes 3. So it was very generous of her to slow down and cart me around a little bit so I can get some of those combat missions done because we're very slow. On that note, though, the on the PTC now is a new location that has all 5 of the specializations in one location. So that could be an easier way for me to get combat expertise done. Because right now I can't finish any of those combat missions alone; they're just too hard. They're easier than they were before they went live, but they're still they have heavies. If the heavies would just leave me alone, I could be okay. But the heavies just go, there she is. And but the new location, I can totally solo. It is a lot more attainable. It's not cranked quite. It's the drill shots. Yes, they need to stop. I mean, and I think it's because I'm wearing armor. I'm not used to wearing armor. Up until chapter 3, I was a steel suit kind of girl, and now I'm having to wear armor, and now I can't dodge out of the way because I'm hitting the key, and I'll be like move, and then nothing happens because I'm not dodging it. I guess enough out of the way. I don't know. Or if I've got latency problems, I know I've got had some stuttering and some really low frame rates. It was like 15. It was like playing the slideshow, and that's come and gone over the months. It'll happen for a couple of weeks, and then something will change and fix, and then it comes back again. So I'm not sure what's up with that. But so we will see back to the dough what it looks like and what it feels like when I'm done. If it doesn't feel light and fluffy, hey, Kason, I will roll it out thinner, and which will keep it from being too dense when I cook it. Because like a cinnamon roll, the bottoms we'll need to make sure that the bottoms get done without burning the tops. So that will be the challenge. That's the hope. I mentioned this to my son the other day, and he's like, "Pizza." I saw a variation of this recipe if it works. That if the bread part works, this is the tricky part. The essentially roll it out the same way, same bread, roll it out the same way. You put a coat of butter on it with Parmesan cheese and garlic, and make them that way. So that could be really good if the this bread recipe works out. I know the stuttering. I've seen a lot of people. It's not just us on our world. I've seen lots of people having problems. When I streamed it the other day, last weekend, I streamed with Servina for several hours, and I disconnected three. I had crashed the desktop 3 times, which is excessive. I don't normally crash the desktop. The crashes like that are quite rare. But other creators were saying they had the same problem with having problems logging in, having problems with sound, having problems with crashes. So I'm not sure why right now it's so unstable, but it kind of not so great. Um, that is so weird because that looks like there's a light on underneath there. There is no light on it. It's just like really bright right there. I do apologize for that. I turned off that light, so on my side it's quite dim on over there. I don't know why it's like, oh Lord, I haven't seen the sun in a long time. The beacons of Gondor are lit. That's that's what that is. Jesus. A little pasty. Little pasty. So let me check the time on this. Ew. Mm, it's budging. It's growing a little bit. So the recipe is pretty straightforward. So let's talk about the bread while it's got a little ways to go. This was 10 grams of dry yeast, 1 cup warm milk. Again, watch your temperature. If you're in a really warm climate or your room is really warm, you don't want to have that as warm as you would otherwise because you don't want to kill your yeast. 1/4 cup sugar, 75 grams of butter, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 egg, and 600 grams of flour. And yes, I know this recipe mixes volume and weight. I don't know why. I don't know. And then the filling will be a thin layer of pizza sauce, a light layer of shredded mozzarella, and thin pepperoni slices. I have a really great recipe for whenever I make actual pizza from scratch. My pizza sauce is super easy. However, I was worried it would make too much for this because you don't want to use a lot of sauce like you would on regular pizza because you don't want it to soak the bottom because normal pizza, is this thick. This will be hopefully this thick. And so you don't want to soak it. So I opted instead, I got 2 small jars of sauce from the grocery store. So we'll see how much it actually takes because I don't want to be wasteful. And of course, a bag of shredded mozzarella cheese and some pepperonis. And once it's made, you can put a little shredded cheese on top. All right. To make the dough, you're going to mix it. It's pretty straightforward. You mix all the ingredients. And you're shaping it. So now, right now, we're in the cover and let rise until doubled. phase. It's not quite doubled yet. It's got a little ways. I think we just need to be patient with it. The oven is not going to be very hot. The oven's 160 Celsius if you've got a fan type, so it's going to be quite cool. We're going to roll it into a rectangle about half a centimeter thick, which I don't have. I've got, 3 or 6. Spread a thin layer of sauce. Don't drown it or it'll be soggy. Add the cheese. Ooh, chorizo could work. That could be really nice. If you like a little bite to it, it could be very, very nice. Roll it like you would cinnamon roll, and then we're going to bake it. I'm going to use a big pan, and you want a deep pan for these. So we'll have to really keep an eye on, your oven best. You have to keep an eye on it. And you don't want them next to each other because you want to have a little room for them to grow so they don't explode everywhere. I mean, explosion could be nice. It could be not. Then we're going to bake it. Oh, once we have all of the stuff in the oven, before we bake it, we're going to pop it in the fridge for a few minutes because that can help the dough keep from spreading once you've handled it so much. So we shall see if that makes a difference. And then we're going to bake for, it says 25 to 30 minutes. We're going to do 25, keeping an eye on it because my oven is possessed and it doesn't something. And so we shall see how this particular project turns out. I've missed doing so much. It's just been kind of hectic, and chorizo could be really nice on pizza. This one would be one you would have to be really thin on pizzas. There's a type of sausage. Think about things you can't get. There's a type of sausage in Germany that I used to make a soup with that you cannot get here. And English sausages is not it. It's a really firm sausage, a bit like salami, but not salami. And we would get it, and it would come in like the tubes, and we would have to take the skin off of it. It was really firm, and it was not something you would want to eat straight because it had a lot of spice to it, which is unusual for Germans, and it was really fatty, but it was great in this soup because it was a cream-based soup, and it was just, but you can't find that type of sausage here, which makes me a little sad. Can't find American breakfast sausage here either, which also makes me very sad because, well, I'm not big into like I don't like Jimmy Dean sausage. It's too spicy. Um, there's the little links. I miss the little links. We shall see. Hello, Cole. How is everybody? Let's see how this is going. I have my stuff out. I'm ready, but now we're at the point where we're just watching dough rise. The exciting part. The shameless plug. Hmm. Sorry. This was type. Hold on. What is it called? It begins with an M that you put in the soup. Remind me, and I will post a picture of it in the Discord because I can't find it here. There is a German food shop thing in London, which, funny enough, is easier. It's cheaper for me to order and have them mail it to me than it is for me to actually get on the train and go, even though it's not that far away. However, DHL has this problem where literally I could go and get it. It's not like it's, days away or hours away. It's like an hour one-way trip to get there. It got so lost last time in the tracking sent it to Holland. And I was like, what? Why? And so the owner of the shop felt so bad. She showed up at my door on a bicycle because she's German and that's how she rolls, literally. So she showed up, and I've been afraid to order anything since because I felt bad that she went out of her way to make sure I got my German food. Finding when you don't live at home, we associate a lot of comfort with food and familiar foods, and even if they're crap, and finding that particular thing that fits a mood that you need. I think my son, we haven't lived in the States in a very long time, but I think my son would be willing to commit bodily harm for a box of little baby Swiss rolls. They're crap, but they're delicious crap, and he loves them. I don't blame him. I like them too, but I'm allergic, so I can't have them anymore. Or the Velveeta shells and cheese. That's not cheese. It's cheese like stuff, but it's delicious. It's delicious, and we like it, so we miss it. But I don't think I have. Hold on, I've got my German cookbooks here. Let's see. German cooking is a funny thing. Cheese adjacent substance. That is a good way to describe Velveeta. Velveeta is cheesy, but it's soft and it's not real cheese. But for not real cheese, it's probably my favorite not real cheese. I'm very particular about my cheeses. I like real cheese, but it melts really nice if you're doing like a grilled cheese sandwich, a lot more consistently than some cheeses do. So you take it for what you can get. But German food is really funny. Like rouladen, I cannot stand rouladen. Does that make me a bad German? I don't like rouladen. Um, I don't know if I have a picture of the soup stuff that I want. I don't think I do. But God, cheese adjacent subject. This is very. If you've ever looked at German cooking, Dr. Ochter is kind of like the Martha White of German cookbooks. It's been around forever. I remember my mom having one when I was a kid with a bunch of stuff that she was never going to cook for us because there was stuff we were just like, no. Um, my dad being very American, it was not going to happen. But Dr. Octor's been around for a bit. I'm trying to see. I don't think I have any pictures of that meat. Another Dr. Octor book. Oh yeah, it's budging. It's budging. But things like you know, their version of pot roast, German pot roast is sauerbraten, and I love that stuff. But it doesn't tend to be beef. Traditionally, it's venison, which us poor people don't get. We don't get that stuff. Uh, and salmon steaks with lemon foam. It's very hoity-toity. Not something that stuffed goose, knuckle with sauerkraut, pork loin. The last time I tried to make pork loin, I had done it in a crock pot. Right, I did it in the crock pot, and that was probably the driest meat I have ever experienced in my life. How can something soak in liquid for 4 hours? Soak in liquid, and you pull it out, and it's like sand. It's like pork flavored sand. I've never experienced. We were just like, it's literally wet. It's literally been soaking in there, but it was so dry. How is this physically possible? How do you soak something in liquid and it come out bone dry? I don't know. It defies the laws of physics. It defies all understanding that I have of food and liquid and soaking things. How does it do that? How does it do it? The world may never know, you know? But yeah, I don't have any pictures of that particular. Looking to see if I could find that sausage picture, but no. But it's like 'cause it's kind of like a salami or pepperoni. It's a hard sausage. This no, this is stuff I made before I left the States, so it was not Tesco meat. It was Walmart meat, but that was back in like 2010. Yeah, it's like how does something defy what you would think? I I would love to go to an actual butcher to get meat, even the cheap cuts, but I don't leave my flat much. So, and I don't know of any place nearby here. I haven't seen any place the few times I've gone out to find a shop. I'm eyeballing my dough here. It's it's grown a little bit. I don't know, you can't see with the glare. There's a big blob of dough in the bottom there, so it needs a little more time. I'm watching the clock. Um, but that was one cool thing in Germany. When you go to the grocery store, the deli counter is a separate company, and if you're wanting to buy something from the deli counter, you pay for it at the deli counter, which is kind of cool. And they're cash only. Don't get caught unaware at a grocery store in Germany. They want cash. The actual groceries, the regular grocery things, you can swipe plastic, but the butchers and the deli counters want um, they want cash, which I kind of respect. That they don't waste money on fees and things. There is a chain in Germany. If you've ever been in like in a train station or whatever, it's I think it's called Fleischmann's that they make they cook meat and stuff there. And now I want a schnitzel because I remember going. I had to go through caught two trains when I was going to and from work, and just walking through there, like in the morning it was coffee, and on the way back you're just smelling the schnitzel. And they would often there's often these I wouldn't call them flea markets, but these weekly markets in many villages and towns where people do sell flowers and it had a flea market fair because they had like T-shirts and stuff, but they also had like fresh produce that farmers would bring in, or cheese or meats, and there was always somebody, at least one, often more than one, guy out there with his grill, a big industrial grill, making these sausages. And essentially, they give you like a sausage and this little brochen, and the brochen is essentially just the handle for the sausage. It's not like a hot dog or eating a whole lot of bread. It's just like the bread is to hold the meat because it just came off the grill. And they were amazing. And German mustard is very different than American mustard too. If you've ever and like English mustard is different from American mustard. English mustard's got some bite. American uh, German mustard has some bite, but more flavor, I think, than American mustard. I'm needing this to rise a little more. I need it to be a little fluffier to work. Okay, so that was the first. Let me give this a few more minutes, and then I want to be a little more confident. The last time I was in Germany, I was taken to like Globus, and there was so many things there, and we had lunch there too as well. It Germans like the food. Germans like to eat, and I think they do the eating because they walk everywhere. There's some walking people, there's some nature loving people, and they love the food. And there's ice cream. They do ice cream all year round, and they don't just do like a scoop of ice cream either. It's like the Sundays and ice cream spaghetti stuff that they do. That's like vanilla ice cream with like strawberry on top, so it looks like spaghetti. But the Sundays, the Black Forest Sunday or the creme de menthe or whatever, they all have alcohol in them too. So they're very happy about having their ice cream. Good cheese has a place. Now, I don't know if I am. I mean, I imagine the typical French cheese connoisseur looks at me like, but because I eat Velveeta, but yeah, good cheese has a place. Yeah, some people like cheese. I think love brie, a good camembert. Every now and then, a little blue cheese, but in small amounts. Otherwise, it's heartburn. Speaking of cheese, how's this coming? Okay. So while that's doing its thing, I'm going to go ahead and get the cheese out. Cheddar is good. A good cheddar has its place. I have never been able to make a good mac and cheese, though. I can't ever get the sauce right. So these are called, they're labeled as German pepperonis, which is odd to me. Um, but we shall see. And where's the cheese? Cheese. Aha. Cheese. I'm not geographically locked around my cheeses. I'm willing to try a lot of cheeses. When we lived in the Middle East, there was some that I don't even remember the names. They were okay, and I ate them when we had them, but I don't miss those. Um, just again, a good cheese on something. I mean, the old standbys of a good cheddar. Sometimes you want the sharp cheddar, sometimes you want a mild cheddar, brie, camembert, mozzarella, parmesan. There's another hard cheese like parmesan because it is Asiago or something like that. I love that stuff. It's got a smoke. It's like smoky. It's amazing. I'm trying to think if I've had specifically an Italian cheese. Nothing. Mozzarella. I love a good mozzarella. Yeah. See, there's and then you have to have the meats to go with it. You know, the prosciutto, the thin air cured hams, and yeah, a little sliced ham, the roast beef, the little pickle. No radishes. Who eats radishes? I've seen people like, oh, let's put this radish on this board. I'm like, it's pretty, but I ain't eating it. It adds a splash of color, but ew, cannot stand it. Okay, yeah, this is finally starting to grow, so I'm feeling a little more confident. Let me put these out of the way because we're gonna make a mess here in a minute. Okay, I've got the timer set. It's got 5 minutes left, and then um, we'll proceed. I think one recipe said I'll need to punch the bread down, which makes sense. We'll punch it down, we'll let it sit for a moment, and then we'll roll it out because, yeah, I'm a bit nervous about this because, yeah, it has perked up a bit. Let's give it a moment more. I don't know if we'll use all of this. I don't think these are kind of big pepperonis too, so we shall see. But the recipe had them laid out in a straight line, so that way they would be each of your rolls when we lay them out will be about one pepperoni wide. So, ooh, oh, smells good. Pepperoni. I love pepperoni. It does not let me back. I've reached that point in my life where it's like, eat the pepperoni, suffer the heartburn. All right. Another thing that I was going to try is me and my favorite. Where is the parchment paper? That's wax paper. Some of you might remember my parchment paper that looks like it got ran over by the truck. I still have some. One thing that I thought I would try, because it's going to be an ooey gooey mess down in here, is if I make a cradle out of the paper so I can lift them all out all at once and minimize the mess in the pan. I mean, obviously you can't keep it completely clean, but we can minimize some of the mess when it comes to cleanup and to show off some of the bits. So let's go ahead and do that while I'm waiting. Just for roll. Let's see. Remember, when you're using paper in an oven, you don't want to have too much hanging out the edges because you don't want it to catch fire. and fire would be bad, or don't have a fire extinguisher. Although the fire department is pretty quick. They came out a couple of Christmases ago. Someone in the building had burned some toast, and we were like, well, I was in my flat going, what is that burning smell? Because it's Christmas time. We're like, did someone's Christmas tree catch fire? And the air was a little sooty, I guess, for lack of a better term. And the fire department came, and they were wandering around going, now we smell it too. And it was like on a different floor that someone had burned their toast. And like, how badly did you burn your toast that the whole rest of the building smells like burned something? Yes, fire bad. Okay. It's still a little dense, but I'm feeling a lot better about it. So this is where we're at for our dough at this point. We turn off my timer. Okay. And my rolling pad, I love this thing. It is silicone pad. Let me see if I can't roll you know, a little closer here so y'all can see what I'm doing. Don't judge my kitchen. There we go. It looks so pale over here. So we're going to punch it down for a moment. Oh yeah, that's fluffed up a lot. All right. You let that sit for a moment, and then we're going to roll it out. It is a bit dense. It is, and I'm a bit nervous about how it's going to fluff up. Again, it's not supposed to be pizza dough. It's supposed to be like a bread roll, but it's still not like any bread I've ever made. It's that's turned out good. It feels a bit heavy, so I mean, you could probably whack somebody with it. It's pretty heavy, but we're going to give it a second, and we're going to give it a try, and we're going to cross our fingers. And the name of the show is Mayhem. So, let's work the mayhem, right? Ooh, oh, roll it. Roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it. I'm not seeing a lot of air in it, so that is a little concerning. It did grow, but just worried about it being. No. Yeah, maybe. We shall see. A little bit this way. That's heavy. As before, my rectangular is not very rectangular. Oh, itchy nose. Okay. That's okay. It's a bit potato shaped. It is consistent though, so try it. It has a good taste. Mm. Let's see how we do. And I'm going to start preheating my oven. It's 180 without fan, 160 with. So we're gonna go light on the sauce. Now, before I put the sauce on, grab that. It said to use unflavored dental floss, but I only have minty tape, so we're gonna have to use a knife. And we want to be careful when we roll them to not have the sauce too close to the edge, so it doesn't, explode out the end there. And I think I chose well with having the small sauce. This should be just enough. I also found a recipe for some mozzarella, speaking of cheese, mozzarella stuffed pretzels, the big German style pretzels. And I would love to try those. The only problem with those is I can't twist a pretzel for shit. And my son can twist them, but he didn't want to be on stream. So I will have to make them and just post pictures. Okay. Yeah, they only used half a jar. And excuse me, did that quite well. And we're going to place them very carefully. Again, the rectangle they had was obviously a better rectangle. This one didn't. We shall see. We shall see. I think I'll roll them this way. That way we get some. We'll give it a go. Right. It's supposed to make 10, but you know how that goes, right? Well, if I roll them that way, it will. Yeah, let's do that. Or if you do get the silicone thing, be very careful because you can cut it, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to cut them this way, very carefully, so we don't cut my mat. About 1 pepperoni wide. And then we'll roll them. Let's go ahead and start rolling a couple of these very carefully. You're going to see how the sauce is oozing out. But what's going to happen is those will go into the oven thusly. And see, sauce is going everywhere. This is why we go light on the sauce. And we don't want those touching because we don't want them to turn into an extra gooey mess. I mean, if you want the gooey mess, then totally do that. But we're doing the pizza rolls. They may not be as fluffy as I think the original recipe intended, but I think just from this part, I think they'll taste all right. The next big challenge, again, internet recipe, is cooking times. We want to make sure we have the right cooking times. The dough is a bit dry, a bit dense, but yeah, it's looking okay. I'm trying to cut very, very carefully too, because I want to cut my mat. You know what I just realized? That is not regular tomato sauce. It's got hold on. It's tomatoes. It's 76% tomatoes, a little tomato puree, and then some seasonings. I will post. Remind me. I will post the recipe that I have for my regular pizza sauce. It's stupid easy, and it's might as well be just plain tomato sauce. It's basically a can of tomato sauce, and I'll put it in one of these Tupperware containers, and I'll put all my seasonings on it and shake it up. It's that it's that much work, but it would be way too much for this. So let me fix my cheese problem here. I need to unroll them. Okay. This is one of those more mayhemy streams, I think. I can hear the shark in my living room hovering. Dun 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 dun. And I'm hearing giggles. Now it's extra messy because I'm an idiot, but I think they'll taste good. You need that Jaws music from Dune. Where you can hear them circling. Be a breach, and out comes the hungry teenager. Okay, I'm going to leave those two alone because they look really good. But I will. Yes, I know the sauce in my hand. Don't care. I saw someone online. They were making something for at home, right? And they were showing off they were cooking this amazing whatever it was. And someone was like, "Ew, they're not wearing gloves." And it's like they're making this stuff for themselves at home. The only time I really would wear gloves at home cooking is if I was making something that had like peppers in it. One other thing I just realized too, by using the pepperoni as a guide for width, they're all going to be pretty consistently the same size, which is helpful. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. This one's gonna be an extra fat one. Don't care. Get in there. There. The more I think about it, something like chorizo would be really nice. Okay. We don't want to let that sit too long. We want to pop them in the oven. And we're going to set the timer for, let me get this out of the way. Oh, no, we're not going to set it up in the oven. We're going to set them in the fridge for a minute, weren't we? I've heard that you should do that with cookies as well to kind of let the cookies sit so whenever you put them in, they don't spread so bad. I don't know if that's true or not. But let's set the timer for a moment. Come on. It gives me a moment to kind of start cleaning some of this mess up. Yeah, my spaghetti, my pasta pizza sauce and pizza dough come from this book. It's a nice big thick one. It's good. It's got some generic stuff like how to do pizza crust. Then you can put whatever once you know the pizza crust, you can put whatever you want on it. It's not. I think a lot of people think pizza is complicated. Pizza is not complicated. Pizza is one of the least complicated things around. It's fancy flatbread with sauce on it. She says, as we're hoping that I didn't mangle this one. Okay, let's put that one to the side now, and we'll put a little on top when we first pull it out of the oven. That will need to be washed. And I will need to shake that into the bin later. Another nice thing about that is it is dishwasher safe. So if you have a big enough dishwasher, you can just put it on the top rack and it would clean it. I don't have a big enough dishwasher. I have a very small dishwasher. I have like a little mutant dishwasher that they have to send off to like Poland for parts or something. It's not a traditional. It's a one rack. It's probably about the same size as you see those apartment ones that you can put on your counter. It's about that size. Okay. And now we need the Jeopardy music. Doody doo doo doody doo doody doo 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 doo. I haven't cleared out the top right. This is my refrigerator. It's very tiny, and so I even cleaned out the top of it to put stuff in because that tray takes up like the whole top shelf of my fridge. It's that small. Yeah, we're living up to the mayhem part. Yep. It's been a bit since I've cooked on stream, and so my son and I spent the last day going, "Do I have everything out? Where is everything? Is my kitchen halfway clean? Do I put the stuff away?" Okay. Because I'm impatient, we're gonna go ahead and pull this out. Probably you'd want to put it in a little longer, but that was kind of part. It's a little gooey, and I'm gonna go and just put that pepperoni on top so it'll stay put. You didn't see that. Um, and please say this will go into my oven. Oh, this pan is too big for my oven, but that's okay. I have another pan that will fit in. Well, poop a doodle. Oh, hey, they fixed. What is the man? We are. No, they just off in a pan. All right. Now it's in. Now it's. Yeah, I have missed cooking on stream. I've missed. The hard part is finding something that is interesting to do that's going to take 45 minutes to an hour that isn't us sitting here watching dough rise. That's kind of the hard part. So over there. I mean, for myself, and we've used the crock pot a lot, not exciting on stream, or just stuff that you can throw on the stove in a little while. It's not as interesting or as exciting as some other things. And but yeah, I've got a lot of Hobbit food lined up. I keep talking in my Discord about how we all love to spawn on Monterey and live like hobbits. And so I need to make some more Hobbit food. Um, And then things like I have like the Fallout cookbook, but some of the stuff that looks great is like big stuff that's really expensive or cakes that I can't do. Problem with cake is, you can make it, but then you really ideally need to pop it in the fridge for a little while and let it completely cool once you've done the crumbing. So, which I don't have room for a cake in my fridge. I don't have room. That took up all my room. My fridge. That's how big my fridge is, and so it makes things a little bit more complicated. I have things I'd like to do, and we're hopefully moving this year. And once I have a little more room and a little bit bigger fridge, then I will totally do those things. And hey, we could even do like the cooking shows where like you show all the stuff and then pull out the other one saying I baked this one yesterday, and then we could have lots of cake. That would be very, very nice. Um, our kitchen has a little bit more room. I would tell people how ridiculous this kitchen is. So this is the counter. Potatoes. Yes, I have lots of potato ideas. A common Hobbit breakfast essentially is fried potatoes, mushrooms, and onions, which could be really, really nice. There's potato soup, which could be really, really nice. Hash browns with bacon could be really, really nice. Um, and that, yeah, there's lots of potatoes. Potato. We go get the Hobbit cookbook while we're waiting for this to cook. Let's see. I knew I should grab these beforehand. Oops. Don't mind me banging stuff around. Okay. So this one doesn't have any pictures. This one does. The it's a this one is hilarious, by the way. This one, whoever wrote this one likes to eat. And there was, where is it? Oh, one thing I do like, I don't have access again to a butcher. And I was just lamenting the lack of breakfast sausage. This one tells you how to make it from scratch. If you can get a hold of the meat, it's got the seasonings that you would need to make American style breakfast sausage. But where is it? Mushroom and bacon hash. I love the way this goes because it's 8 slices of bacon, leftover baked potatoes cut into cubes. So the idea is that you're not wasting anything, which is quite nice. Whatever you had for dinner last night, you could use in your breakfast without, and it saves you a little work. Uh, some mushrooms, onion, garlic, coarse salt, black pepper, and kitchen herbs. Fry your bacon in a cast iron skillet. If you know you can't resist fresh hot bacon, an extra couple of strips to munch on while you're cooking the hash. And I guess whoever made this likes bacon because a lot of the recipes like always make extra because you're going to eat it. So that one could be really nice. There's stewed apples, porridge, wheat porridge, stuffed poached pears could be quite nice to make. Mushroom omelet. There's lots of amazing um, for the mushroom omelet, butter, onion, mushrooms, garlic, your garden herbs, your salt, 3 eggs, milk, crispy, 3 slices of bacon, and 3 tablespoons of shredded cheese. The key to a good omelet is temperature control and patience. You need to get the eggs to cook slowly, otherwise the bottom will burn while the middle stays an inedible liquid. If you stick to a medium heat and don't fuss with it, you'll master this easy with this in no time. If you're adding bacon, start by frying up 5 strips in a large skillet over medium heat. 3 go in the omelet, 2 go in your mouth. They like the bacon. There was another breakfasty one I was looking at that had potato in it. Pork hand pies, porter cake. You've got a bunch of different cakes for your secondsies. Very good. Chelsea buns, tater cakes with onions. That could be quite nice. It reminds me a little bit of the potato pancakes my mom used to make. I think they're very similar. It's shredded potatoes, mashed potatoes, flour, minced onion, cheese, milk, garlic, salt, pepper, and butter. So basically, you're going to mush it all together and fry it. That would be really good with bacon. Hot cross buns, great English thing for Tolkien fans. Hot buttered scones. The big debate: do you put clotted cream on first or the butter first? Roast rack of lamb out of my budget. Roasted asparagus. No one here will eat that but me, and I'm not going to waste it. And roast chicken. So there's lots of potatoey options there that could be quite nice. Bacon is good. There are so many good options, and again, a chunk of it is it's like how much of it do we sit here and watch Meg chop up potatoes? But at least that would be action, right? And yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do because potato soup is nice. I like potato soup, but fried potatoes and onion with bacon sounds really nice too. And the nice thing about fried potatoes and onions and bacon and that sort of stuff is it tends to be a cheap meal because potato and onions are cheap. The expensive part's the bacon. Um, One thing I miss is going in the States, the streaky rashers of bacon, you could go to the deli counter and get them quite thick. And when you get the edges nice and crisp, ooh, not burned, not like cooked, but the edges where the fat is it's got a little crisp to it. Now I'm really hungry. I may have to put up a poll on the Discord to see what potato thing we make next, or at least what order we make them in. Because again, potatoes are affordable. I can do potatoes and I can do onions, and the way these are made is you can easily use them as leftovers. I know I'm watching this. Oh, yeah, they're starting to grow. So this has about 15 minutes left. I'm keeping an eye on it because I don't want the top to start scorching. If the top starts looking a little burned before time, we pop it out and put some foil across the top so we can let the bottom cook because again, we don't want the bottom to be gooey or wet. It does have egg in it, so it's got one egg in it, which normally you don't have in pizza dough. And so this is not a pizza dough. But I can post that recipe in my recipe that I use for when I make pizza. And again, pizza is super easy. It's whatever you want on top. The trick to it, the only I say trick, the only thing you got to be mindful of is don't go too heavy on the sauce and pop it in almost immediately from the time you start putting the sauce and stuff on it, so it doesn't soak through the bread and you end up with a gooey, burned mess. That's probably the biggest concern right there. Mm. But I'm hoping once I get moved to have access to a little bit better kitchen. I've mentioned before how this one I can't touch the counter. It's that far back, and this is me standing. This is how tall it is. I feel like I'm like a 9-year-old next in this kitchen, and it's not super great for space or organization or ergonomics in any way. I mean, the kitchen, the sink is that little spot over in the corner, so you're like wedged up against the wall. It's not great. Um, but I like cooking. A bacon baguette. How's this place? Did you have a little tomato and a little cheese? A mozzarella on that could have been really good. Could have been really, really good. Now I'm hungry. Now I really am hungry. Ooh, bacon with on a baguette with really thick bit of mozzarella on it. So you just had bacon on a piece of dry bread. It's the most English thing I've seen all day. That is the most English thing I've seen all day. Brown sauce. For those of you who aren't in the UK, brown sauce tastes like brown. It's not A1, it's not Heinz 57, it's not Worcester sauce, it's not Lee and Perrins, it's just brown. Same thing with brown gravy. It's not like if you no, there's onion gravy and there's like mushroom gravy that's brown, but it just tends to be it's brown. And it can be good. I'm not saying it's bad, but I don't know how else to describe it as opposed to like onion gravy or mushroom gravy. It's its own thing. It can be good. It can be good. See, now we're all talking some good food here. Vinegary fruity sauce. Tamarind is probably one of the ingredients, and if it's got that kind of hint to it. A1 is a popular steak sauce in the States, and you put it on a lot of meats and things. Has tamarind in it, and so it gives it. It's also got pepper in it, but it's got a, I guess, umami fruity thing going on, and it can be really good on a rare steak if you're into that sort of thing. I cannot have it anymore. I'm allergic. I need to get. It's on my list of things to get some cookbooks with some I guess copycat recipes for common steak sauces and things and marinades because so many of them have soybean oil in them, and I'm allergic to soy. And it's kind of a downer. Soy isn't everything. Don't get me wrong; it's a great thing. It's cheap. It's easy to grow. But soybean oil in the states. A lot of times, if you see something that's labeled generic vegetable oil, if you read what's actually in it, it'll be a blend of like palm oil or sunflower oil and canola oil and soybean oil. Um, it's just not tasting like a vegetable. But and a lot of things that are pre-made that have oil in it will probably have soybean oil mixed in because it's cheap, but it makes me sick. Last time we were in the States, we went to a steak place, and I thought I asked if anything had soy in it, but I was double up. I was in agony. Making Paolo hungry. What movie are you going to be watching tonight? Speaking of movies, it has I don't pay much attention to social media anymore. It's kind of hard out there. But have we heard a date yet, specifically for sure when the next Dune movie's coming out? I know they talked about Dune Prophecy having another season, but we haven't heard anything about that either. Do we know? I'm looking forward to the next movie because if you've read the books, you're like, where is this going to go? And where is it going to end? And is it going to? I know Villeneuve had said he wasn't intending to do a fourth movie, but then Legendary was like, there's always the potential for all of the books to be done. It's like, do you really want to do all of the movies visually? Do we? And knowing some of the story context, do we really want to go there? To be fair, Paolo is always showing off this barbecue stuff that he does and the pizzas, and it's just like, oh, the food that comes those cooking out on the Brazilian barbecue thing on the skewers, and yeah, there's hmm. Ooh, I can smell something pizza like. The bulb went out in my oven years ago, and I can't get the cover off to put a new one in. So we're going old school with a flashlight. We improvise, we adapt, and we overcome. And oh my lordy, that's looking good. I may have to put some foil on it though. The edges of some of the pepperoni are looking a little crisp. But before I do that, I can put some more a little more cheese on top because you can't have too much mozzarella on your pizza. I don't think it's possible to have too much cheese on a pizza. There was a place when I lived in the States. It was a pizza place opened up by a family from they made Napolese pizza, They were from Naples, and they made Naples pizza, and it was this thick pizza, and it was like this big around. And I'm not kidding, it was this massive box thing. We could feed all the kids with it, and it was just garlic and cheese. It was like that thick. It was amazing. So let's check this. We'll see if we need to put some foil on it, and we'll put a little cheese on it. Let me get my chair out of the way. My Meg don't fall down in her face chair. Well, it does need a few more minutes, but I'm going to put the foil on it so it doesn't get overly done. And then I will show you guys what this looks like. Um, you can kind of see they're poking up a little bit. Another good reason to use the paper is this will be a lot easier to clean up. Yeah, Kason had gifted me the brown stuff last year when I started doing this. I had it up on my wish list on Amazon, and it doesn't fit in my oven. We're gonna kind of mush it down because that I'm almost out of oil, but that should keep the worst of the crispy off. It says as the heat blows it off of there. Hold on. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I may need to get out another Jimmy here. That's okay. We'll save that for another time. I'll set that here. Way. It's done. The suspense builds. I know. And like I said, I'm hearing the shark in the living room. But it should be done in just a few minutes. And then I will put up so I won't be cooking next week because I'm trying to get some stuff done for the Patreon. It's not gotten a lot of traction so far, but the only response on the quiz, the poll that I put up was topics was essentially starting foreshadowing, I guess, of Paul's transformation in the first part of the Dune book, in the first part of Dune. So from the time we get introduced to Paul to right after the fall of Arrakeen, so there's going to be some analysis of the text, and so some of what shows Paul as important and kind of foreshadowing his place in the story. So that will be my project for next week. I don't know if I'll have it up because it's a lot of research because I'm having to get the book out and do it. I'm a little rusty, but I will have that up. And my goal is to try and do that, alternate with this, and then I may move the podcast to every other week, depending on the situation with the game right now for Dune Awakening, because the community is kind of right now, and I don't want to feed into the fire. It's there. Some of the community is kind of um, and we also talked about setting up Conan. So lots of things to do. It a little heated, yeah. That's I got pinged into some discussions today, and I'm like, I don't really want to go there. You know what I mean? And you want to engage with something that you enjoy, something that you love, and that you have a positive passion with. I don't understand people spending a lot of energy in things they hate. It's like life is too short. Go find something you like. And I don't understand people who like being hateful. I don't get that. I never have. I've always wondered in school, what makes a bully a bully? Why do they seem to enjoy causing people pain? I've got Little Shop of Horrors in my head. You'll be a dentist. You have a talent for causing people pain. I haven't seen it in ages. Hmm. Steve Martin was the best in that. Yeah, the official Discord is really, really hard to have a legitimate discussion about things without things getting ugly. And it's gotten to the point like before game launch, like Mojo and I were very, very busy in there, and Brad and Tack Tapped and those guys. We were all, lots of, what's going on. And the biggest argument was, would you put pineapple on pizza? Right. And now I peeked in today, and it was a lot of Yo Mama jokes, and some of them were kind of and a lot of aggression about just a lot of name calling. And it's like, I ended up reporting someone not just to the Discord moderators. I reported them to the Discord for their behavior. I mean, it was just really bad. It's just like, why are we acting this way? Yeah, and it just didn't feel nice, and I don't want to lose my liking for the game and the bits of it that I enjoy getting tangled up in other people's paws out mess. Life is too short. I think we're about done. My oven, I think, cooks a little fast. I did let it preheat good, so I'm turning off the heat for a moment. I'm nervous because these look amazing. Will they be amazing? And yeah, I mean, every time, I'll go in there and I want to see, did Iggy say something? Did the developers say something? And then you just see all the crap scroll by, and I go, okay, I'm leaving. Okay. I want to go in. I want to find where people are talking about great things in their communities, and people are pinging me now and saying, "Hey, here's this thing I built, and I'm loving that part." And I've grabbed a bunch for the next episode podcast, but it's just everybody else is just so ugly, and it's just yeah. Okay, are we ready for the reveal? Pizza rolls. We got pizza rolls. I can hear my son over there going, "Food." So, time for the big reveal, right? Find some tongs so I don't burn the bejesus out of myself. Okay. Be very, very careful. These just came out of the oven. So, shall we take a look see at what these look like? Hot. Give that a moment. That is really hot. Ow. Nah. And the paper did catch most of the oil from the cheese. Now the video showed them a lot more hot. The bread a lot softer, and we knew that that was a risk with this particular. So, yeah, it's. Mm. So the bread's not as soft as what I'd hoped for, but again, I knew that was likely going to happen because the dough this time was not great. Um, I don't know what went wrong with the dough. I don't know if it was a temperature problem. My flour's not old. My yeast is still good. When is my yeast? Because I double checked. This package of yeast is good until April. So um, again, I've got a thermometer. I checked the temperature. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure what I would do differently. I noticed maybe a little more liquid when it was in the bowl, and maybe it needed a little longer. It's probably the only thing I can think of. If I were to make it again and it came out that way, the only other thing I would try would be a little more liquid in the bowl and needing a little longer. So let us try some of this. It's good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The bread's not as dense as I was afraid it would be. It is a little thick, but it's not. It's not. I was afraid it'd be bricky. You know what I mean? It it tastes like pepperoni. What it tastes like, and again, it wasn't huge pepperoni. Each one has like 3 or 4 slices in it, and I think I did a good job. It didn't soak through, which is quite nice. I think this is worth trying again. With the garlic bread part, indifferent. Okay, yeah, it was worth a try. And if I were to make it again, like I said, I would double check temperatures on everything, and it is approved. Um, temperature of the room, ambient temperatures. I don't know. So I got a little suspicious when I first started making the yeast, and it didn't activate like I'd hoped, which made me think that I'd get it too warm in here. But I don't know. I'm standing in front of the oven. It's 24 degrees in here. It's not like boiling. I don't know. Let me see how warm it is in front of this oven. I'm gonna sit here and watch this temperature shoot up. But yeah, I will try. I'd like to try the bread again, and I will do. Probably won't do it on stream, but I'd like to try the garlic bread cheese thing in it because again, a pinwheel of that with Parmesan cheese and some mozzarella and some garlic would be quite nice if the bread rises properly. And yeah, it's not that hot. It's only 24 degrees in here, and that's standing in front of the oven. Yeah, I've made worse things. I gotta talk about these cookies. I made one great batch of cookies, and I made one devastatingly awful batch of cookies. I know. So Paolo's talking about having barbecue over here. Mm-hmm. To be fair, garlic bread goes with a lot of things. Part of it too is it's a different brand of pepperoni that we usually have on pizzas, and that could be part of the kind of. But yeah, the bread is not the worst. It reminds me a little bit of if you make homemade pretzels, the big pretzels. It reminds me a little bit of that as far as texture. on the inside. Yeah, I'll give it a solid 7. On that note, uh, I will put up a thing in the Discord, a poll, words for the potatoes. What we're gonna do with some potatoes, and I will do my best to remember the next day or so to put up the recipes for the pizza dough and pizza sauce that are super duper easy. And I think that has us for the things I promised to do. Oh, I will have to double check. But I think this is a good spot to wrap it up. Many thanks to everybody who came out and hung out and watched the potential mayhem. It turned out all right in the end. I've made far worse. I've made far worse. That the cookies that kind of went sideways, and that cheesecake I made looked amazing, but it had too much clove in it. It was all right, but it was very clovey. So won't be making it like that again. So yeah, we'll see. Um, I am off. I hope all of y'all have a great night, and I will see y'all next time. Y'all know where to find me, and yeah, bye. Okay, hit the buttons.